Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome to my next update on how am I doing during the Expedition League. So week 1 has just passed and it was a pretty hard week. I didn't really expect it to be this hard. I was expecting to have much more currency at that point, but we are finally making some money. So last time I was talking that I am gonna start doing the simulacrums. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about today. So first, let me talk about the build and what have I changed. So first thing is actually this flask, Forbidden Taste. It's became kinda popular recently. So the way it works is you roll it with the instilling orbs and you roll for the used when you take a savage hit. So that basically means this flask will be automatically used when you take at least, I think, 25% damage in one hit, and this will restore 80% of your life, up to 100% depending on your roll. So basically how it works, you take a big hit and it is instantly used, so this hit will not even show on your life bar. You will only see the flask being used and you will be still on full life, but it will also trigger the damage over time on you. So 25% of your maximum life taken as chaos. Even with 74% chaos resistances, you can still feel this damage. As you can see, I am taking around like 30% of my life, and that's because I am Pathfinder and I have a lot of flask effectiveness on my tree, so it actually affects this flask. So I am taking more than what you wouldn't usually take. So it is a bit of a downside, but I still want 50% flask effectiveness for additional arrow from Dying Sun. And to be honest, the damage over time doesn't really matter that much. If you have life on kill, like I have here, you will restore that life pretty quickly, but what really matters is being healed instantly from big hits. That's really big and it saves you very often. So the second part is obviously Zerf is hard. If you have watched any of my videos about farming simulacrums, I really like this item. The way it works is if you use any Val skill, so I am using Val Grace, you will gain Soul Eater for 20 seconds, and what it does is it gives you stack of Soul Eater per kill, and each stacks give you attack speed. So after like 10 seconds of uptime on it, you will have like 100 stacks, and I will have, instead of 3 attacks per second, like 10-15 attacks per second. So it's actually kinda insane. It gives you a big boost of damage, and it is really nice for simulacrums because waves in simulacrums last around 30 seconds, so you can have it up for most of the wave. What I like to do is usually wait for around like 2-3 rewards, and then I am using it so it lasts for the remainder of the wave. I don't like using it at the beginning because I want to have it up in case the boss spawn at the end of the wave, because bosses usually spawn somewhere in the middle of the wave. So it also has a downside, so 50% increase attribute required, and to counter it I am using the Elegant Hubris with Caspiro. What it does is it gives you Supreme Ostentation to ignore attribute requirements. So you no longer need any attributes on your gear. As you can see, I have like 30 int. So this is how my tree is looking. I am using double cluster jewel setup with Touch of Cruelty, Wicked Paw, Unholy Grace, and almost the same here. I am using a Watcher Eye with Malevolence, one Brush with Death for life on kill, and just some Chaos Res to counter the flask. Chaos damage over time. Also, you want, even if you are not using this flask, you want at least, I would say, like 50% chaos rest for simulacrums, and Spike Concoction for flask effectiveness, and Numbing Elixir for curse effectiveness reduction. I'm still not 100% curse immune, but I'm working on finding maybe some kind of megalomaniac jewel to get second one of this, to bring it to 100% with the Soul of Yugu. So that would be 40 plus 20 plus another 40. Also, I'm using Eternal Suffering for Wither, because I am no longer using the Wither totem. So this tree is not perfect. I am also using the Fleetfoot and Avatar of the Hunt for cooldown recovery for dash, and it's actually pretty decent, but I think I will eventually drop it. I am not using the Thread of Hope, so I am not gaining frenzy and endurance charges. I also don't have skill effect duration here, so I think eventually I will swap back to Thread of Hope, and I will work on my tree as I go. So the reason I am using Val Grace as my Val skill is because it gives you a dodge. So with Flask and Acrobatics and this and Val Grace, I am dodge capped. Without it, I am not. So it lasts around 11 seconds, which is also why I would want this skill effect duration, so it lasts a bit longer. But the first 10 seconds of Soul Eater are the most important, because you don't have stacks of Soul Eater yet, and the last 10 seconds you will pretty much kill everything, so you don't really need as much dodge anymore, because everything will be pretty much dead. So these are the most important things. Another thing you might question about is why I'm using double dodge flask, and that's because Forbidden Taste is not up all the time, it's just being used automatically. So I want another flask for dodge, and also this has increased effect, so it actually gives me more dodge than this one would give me. And also I am using the enchant on these two for used when reach full charges. So pretty much the only flask I have to press is the mana flask, and just from time to time the life flask, which I have bleed immunity on. In terms of other gear, nothing changed from my last video except for boots. I now have Tailwind on crit. I have only 6% chance to crit, but it's good enough to have like 90% uptime on Tailwind, I would say. And also I have Craft with movement speed and Onslaught on kill. I also upgraded some of the other items just to get some more life and resistances. And I would say for Simulacrums we want to have at least 4k life. It's still not like super easy with this amount of life, but it's definitely much better than lower. I am also leveling a lot of gems. As of right now I am leveling just a normal spectral shield throw gems, because they are pretty expensive, but eventually if I have more money I will swap to Enlightens and Powers and some Awakened gems. So now I want to show you the last 3 ways of Simulacrums, because to be honest the first 17 are pretty easy and most of the people can do them, but Simulacrums this league are actually pretty hard. After the changes I don't expect that many builds to be able to do it, especially on a budget, and because of that the prices of Simulacrums keep going down. You can even buy them for 1.1 exalts maybe, most of the time 1.2, but they keep going down. Also a lot of people are farming the Tropical Island in Tier End with Delirium passives, so you can get even like 200-250 Simulacrum Splinters from one Tropical Island map. So I expect a lot of people to be doing this strategy, so prices of Simulacrums will keep dropping. So that's pretty good for this strategy. But unfortunately, because of that, a lot of people are also dropping a lot of Scarabs. So Scarabs are the biggest profit for Simulacrum. So because of that, you're not making as much money as you would in different leagues, because they are cheaper. So let me show you the last 3 ways. So I start with just using my flasks. But the most important part is just keep running around. So now I have 2 rewards, I'm gonna press my Valgrace and I start gaining the Soul Eater charges. As you can see, my attack speed is keep going up, and I have 11, 12 and so on. So my damage is being insane, and as you can see, my mana is at that point being drained, but I would say it's good enough. I don't think I need much more mana regen than this. So when my stacks drop, my mana is back to being normal. Now just to clear the last few monsters. And one thing I didn't mention is also the rings with craft minus mana cost. So my Toxic Rain costs only 30 mana. So that's also an important part of this strategy. Because you're attacking so fast, you pretty much need some kind of mana cost reduction. So now again, I'm gonna shoot a little bit, just keep moving around, just constantly. You never want to stand in one place when you're doing simulacrums. This is also why the nerfs to dash, cooldown recovery are pretty big nerf for this strategy. And again, my Soul Eater stacks kicked in, so now I am killing everything pretty fast. And you can also see how often my Forbidden Taste flask is being used. So it saves me quite often. Also, the reason why I like playing Pathfinder is, as you can see right now, I don't really have my life flask charges, and because I am Pathfinder, they are just being regained automatically, even if you are not fighting. Which is actually really good for fighting the bosses in here. Also, the big thing about simulacrums is ailments. Not only you have to be immune to like things like Ignite, Shock and Freeze, but also Scorch, Sap and Brittle. These are 3 special ailments that are applied only by Delirium monsters, and the only way to get some kind of immunity to them is avoidance of all ailments. There is no like remove Scorch on something. Like if you have Flask that removes Freeze, there is no flask that removes Scorch, Sap or Brittle, so you need to be immune to all of them. So this is why also being the Pathfinder helps, because your flasks are being pressed just automatically so often. Any Scorch, Sap, Brittle, Ignite, Chill, Freeze or Shock will be automatically removed. So this is the last wave, and as you can see, there is 40% Chaos Res. If you get 40% Chaos Res on 20 waves, it is really, really hard to do it on this bit. It is not impossible, but I already failed a lot of waves 20 because of this. So yesterday I did like 30 simulacrums, and I think I failed like 4, maybe 5 waves 20, and all of them I failed when I had Chaos Res, so I do expect to fail this one. There is no other like damage reduction mod, so it shouldn't be like crazy insane. There is also no crit, so I think I can do it, but I expect to die like 3 times here probably, even if I do it. So as you can see, my damage is super bad. I will press my Valkyrie soon. Let's do it right now. I do it a bit earlier if the wave is pretty hard, and probably a boss is gonna spawn soon. Yep, there is a Colossus, and I am dead. So yeah, I still need to work a bit on this build, and again, I am dead. But it's good that you can see that you don't really need to complete all of the waves 20 all the time for this strategy to be profitable. And again, I did few of the simulacrums even deathless. It's only the mods that are pretty important. If the wave 20 has Chaos Res, it's like insanely bad for this character. And I expect it to be for any other build. If you are some kind of fire build and you have wave 20 with chaos res, I mean fire res, you're gonna struggle a lot. But as you can see, it's not like impossible. Probably will just take quite a long time. You can see I am barely even dealing damage to Colossus. I would say I am a bit experienced with fighting Colossus, so I should be able to kill him here, but it's gonna be a pretty long fight. What you want to do is you want to just stay close to him so he keeps using his melee attack. Normally from time to time he will use his special abilities, and whenever he is jumping on top of the big ball, you just want to run away. And that again. But yeah, to not waste my time, I'm not gonna finish it. Let me just talk about the results. So yeah, as you can see, I am not always finishing 20 waves. I always finish 19 and I pretty much always have 5 rewards. But yeah. So, yesterday in 10 hours I made 45 exalts, and the only 2 rare drops that I got were 1 voices with 5 passives, I sold it for 6 exalts, and 1 brother's stash card, which is card that gives you 5 exalts. So in total 11 exalts. But when you are doing simulacrums, obviously you should expect some rare drops from time to time. Also, I leveled up the toxic rains yesterday, so I think I got like 3 level 21 out of like 16 that I corrupted. So they went for I think 1 exalt each, so 3 exalts in total from gems. So if I did it for 10 hours, that's pretty much 4.5 exalt per hour. With counting gems, that's probably like 5 exalts per hour. So I expect to improve the strategy eventually with leveling, like awakened gems and so on. I expect this to go up to like 10 exalts, and also especially if I'm gonna be able to clear 20 waves. So from now on, this is pretty much where I'm gonna be living. For the next week I'm gonna just spam simulacrums all day, every day, until I have multiple mirrors, and then I'm gonna make some other build. And before that, obviously I'm gonna dump some of that money into my build. I want to buy corrupted chest. Again, I want to swap to using Thread of Hope. I want to get some better cluster jewels. Also, I want to get a better bow with double damage over time multiplier. Maybe cooling strike on gloves or something. I don't know yet. Minus chaos res to nearby enemies helmet would be pretty decent for 40 resistance wave. So I am gonna still upgrade my gear a lot. Also, I want to try out the new mechanic, the ward. I think it actually could be pretty good for this build. I haven't really seen that many people using ward yet, so I'm not sure, but I want to test that out. So again, with current prices of simulacrums, like 1.2 exalts, I would say each simulacrums profits you like 1 maybe to 2 exalts, but you need to do a lot of them. If you're gonna do just 1, you're not really gonna sell like a small items that you're gonna get from there, like 1 of each scarabs, for example, and so on. It's really hard to do it this way, so I really like to have like a lot of currency. So now I can just buy like 30 simulacrums and just run them all day, and after that do like a 1 hour, 2 hour session of trading, and I buy another 30. I don't have to like trade after every single simulacrum to be able to afford another one. So that's pretty much it. From now on I'm gonna be farming simulacrums pretty much every day for the next week. So if you want to see that, you can check out my Twitch channel ZenM, and also on my YouTube I am gonna be making some videos about simulacrum mechanics, profits, and so on. So expect that happening in the next few days. So see you there.